good, YouTube? It's your boy FantaSZN, aka Fanta, and if you're OG, you might even know me as Imagine Slain. Today I'm coming at you boys with a new, long-awaited 5'9" demigod build. Now you might be wondering why I'm calling it a demigod when it's 5'9", but that's because this build gets legend shooting badges, legend lightning launcher, and can dunk the ball, has perimeter defense to close out, has steal to get in the passing lanes, has dunk to dunk the ball, and on top of that, the build is just so god dang fat. But I can show you better than I can tell you, so this is what this video is going to be about. Let's get straight into the clips. Oh, you're talking about that Loki ass Oh my. Now, as you guys can see, I personally already have this build at 99 overall, so I know its max potential, and that's why I'm making this video for you guys right now. But for the sake of the video, let's create this build from scratch so I can show you guys exactly what to do. So what you're going to want to do is go position, point guard height, 5'9", and you could keep the weight at 165, or you could go minimum weight. I put my 5'9" at minimum weight, but I can see now that I'm looking at the builder again that nothing really changes between what you can do with minimum weight and 165. So let's see if maybe you get more attributes or something like that. So I'm going to go 165 pounds for the sake of this video. The first thing you're going to want to do is go to 99 3-point shot, because as you guys can see, I get Deadeye Legend, Limitless Legend, Mini Marksman Legend, and Set Shot Specialist Legend. And I'm also going to be upgrading my agility just so I can get that Shifty Shooter Legend, because that's super important as well. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Why upgrade to a 99.3 when you can just use your cap breakers? And that's because if you guys didn't know already, in your season pass at level 30 or 40, I'm not sure which, you do get a badge upgrade. So I'm going to be able to have Hall of Fame playmaking badges and still upgrade my lightning launch to legend lightning launch. So this build is going to have all of its legend shooting badges off the rip, and on top of that have the speed of legend lightning launch. Now on that topic, as you guys can see, I have my speed with ball at a 92 at Hall of Fame, just because I know that I can use that badge upgrade to get that lightning launch on legendary. Another thing you might be wondering about is why my ball handle's at a 94. That's because a lot of people are putting their ball handle at 95 for these really small guards, but I personally don't feel like Steve Francis is that good this year, and you can't even access it right now in Season 1, but I've seen people dribbling around with it in the tutorial, and it just didn't seem that effective in this year's game with the way you have to dribble and speed boost. And now onto the pass accuracy. Now, I personally had my pass ac at a 76 on my 5'9", but I noticed that my passes were considerably slower than on my 6'2" when I went with the 78 pass ac. So I'm going to be making this build for you guys slightly different than my 5'9", and I'm going to give you guys 78 pass ac because I've just noticed there's no point of being that small, especially with how crazy the passing lanes in this game is and not being able to pass the ball fast if people were doubling your 3-ball. Moving on to the defense, we're going to start off with maxing out our interior at a 44 just so we can sometimes get stops in the paint. Now, you are a liability on this build. There is no covering that. There is no hiding that. If you're making this build, this means you are super confident in your offensive ability and you play with people good enough to where you can kind of hide your mismatch, rotate in and out, not just get cut on all game. You know what I mean? But still, you're not a complete liability. If you do play great defense, you can wall people up in the paint and you can time your jump and make people miss layups. They will not always finish it over you. Moving on to perimeter, I went 71 perimeter so I can get that challenger bronze. Now, keep in mind you are 5'9", so some good players will still actually hit shots on you, just like a good player can hit a shot down on a lock, let alone when you're actually 5'9". So people do hit shots on me with this build, but I've also started to get better at just timing my jumps, and people miss 9 times out of 10 if you're there and you jump. Okay, moving on to the steal. I went 85 steals so I could get that gold interceptor. As you guys probably have figured out by now, the passing lanes in this game are extremely broken, and you can move like a free safety if you put a little bit of steal in your guard. On my last build video on my 6'2", I have a 79 steal, and I moved crazy with just silver, so I couldn't imagine what gold would be like, and I was right. You can get insane animations with this 5'9" with an 85 steal, playing your back door, flaring up to the top of the key to try to steal somebody's pick and pop. There's so many things you guys can do with this 5'9" steal, especially if you're good at blitzing the ball and reading lanes. Oh yeah, I completely forgot, but max out your dunk to a 75. You should be able to do it at this point if you've been following me step by step. If you max this dunk to a 75, you still get athletic hangs off 1 and dunks of that nature, and you get some park dunks as well, so you could still get aggressive dunks and not get blocked at the rim with this dunk. Now moving on to our physicals, I went 90 speed and I went 82 agility just so I could get that legend shifty shooter, as you guys can see in the top right. I also went 90 speed just because you run around so fast with this 90 speed. It is actually so insane how fast this build is. The difference was immediately noticeable when I rebirthed this build and I only had silver badges. And lastly, I maxed out my block so I could still sometimes get decent jumps at my defenders when they're driving into the paint, and just so I could wall up and jump and get better animations. When you create this build, you should get shades of Tim Hardaway, Mike Conley, and Fred VanVleet, and that is how I created my demigod 5'9" build. Now that I finished showing you guys exactly how I made my 5'9" build, let's go through the pros and cons and the difference between my 5'9" build and my 6'2" build. The biggest thing that stood out to me between these two builds is that there are pros and cons with both builds. I personally enjoy and like playing on my 6'2" build better just because I feel like I'm less of a liability. Even though I have less steal and don't have gold interceptor, I get more passing lanes just off of my height and size with my wingspan. Secondly, I immediately noticed that I am so much faster on my 5'9", regardless of the fact if I get lightning launch on my 6'2". Like I said before, as soon as I got on this 5'9" and I only had silver badges with my rebirth, I was already moving 3 times faster than my 6'2". So the offense on this 5'9" is undoubtedly way better than the 6'2". But like I said, NBA 2K25 has insane lanes, and I personally feel like defense is going to win games in this game all year. So I enjoy being on a 6'2", not being a liability, shutting down lanes, not getting babied in the paint, allowing my lockdown and center to get the most stops possible in a game, because it is very hard to score in this game, as I'm sure you guys already know. Another thing that I noticed is that the 5'9" jump shots are faster than the 6'2" jump shots. So I can throw on the exact same custom on my 5'9", and I can get the ball off and shoot certain shots that my 6'2" will not be able to get off. So like I said, this build is just more offensively sound, but it has its risks on the defensive end, but it is an absolute beast on offense. And if you feel like you're good enough to carry your team on offense and get threes and dunk, and you know that you have enough defensive IQ to rotate yourself out of the paint if people are trying to baby you and things of that nature, I think that this build would be great for you. And honestly, from a casual standpoint, this build is just a lot more fun to play on. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say about these two builds. This is a 5'9" demigod build that I've been rocking out with. If you guys have any questions about why I made my 5'9" the way I did, go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know. I'll reply to it. I'll give you my thoughts and opinion. And if you just have any suggestions for builds you guys want to see me make in the future, because I am 99 overall already, I stream daily on twitch.tv/Fanta, and I've also even been multi-streaming on YouTube. So if you want to catch me playing live, you can catch me on a YouTube stream as well. All of that being said, it's your boy FantaSZN, aka Fanta, and if you're OG, you might even know me as Imagine Slaying, and I'm out. Peace.